Welcome back, the Z Enforcers Origin Stories podcast. You know, we've had some incredible source material sent to us lately, and today we're diving into one that's really caught our eye.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about these superheroes called the Z Enforcers.
Z Enforcers.
Have you heard of them?
I've heard the name, but I don't really know much about them.
Okay, well, get this. They're not your typical, saving people from burning buildings kind of heroes.
What?
They're fighting for something much deeper, like the human conscience itself.
Whoa, that's a whole different ballgame.
Right. So we're going to dig into their whole origin story, like where they came from.
Their backstory.
Yeah, exactly. And who are the major players?
Good guys, bad guys.
The whole shebang. And, of course, we've got to figure out what kind of powers these guys have.
That sounds fascinating. I mean, flipping the superhero script like that, focusing on the internal struggles, the good and bad in all of us, that's really unique.
Yeah, touch your typical comic book stuff, that's for sure.
No kidding.
So to really understand these Z Enforcers, we got to head to their home planet, Zeutonia. And get this, it's like a super advanced utopia, tech beyond anything we can even imagine.
Like Star Trek level.
Oh, way beyond that. But here's the thing. Their harmony doesn't come from everyone thinking the same way. It's all about unity.
Unity, not uniformity.
Exactly. They had a diverse population, but everyone valued peace above all else.
That's pretty remarkable considering how divided our world is.
I know, right? And this peace was all thanks to this powerful being called Alphamegnus.
Alphamegnus.
Yeah, he was like the ultimate peacekeeper, made sure everyone, no matter what they believed, could coexist peacefully.
So like a benevolent overlord?
Kind of, but in a good way,
Yeah.
Like a cosmic referee making sure everyone plays fair.
Makes sense.
To keep everything running smoothly, he entrusted these two brothers, Zor and Armegon, with planetary security.
Two brothers.
They commanded entire legions, had some crazy powers, but there was a catch.
A catch.
These powers were only for protecting, never for revenge.
Oh, so it was like conditional power.
Yeah, like a cosmic rule, Don't use your powers for evil, kind of thing.
I guess that makes sense. Power can corrupt pretty easily.
Tell me about it. And this is where things get messy. Zor, he couldn't let go of this pain he was carrying. He lost his wife to an enemy army.
Oh, man, that's tough.
And he was determined to get revenge, even though Alphamegnus specifically told him not to.
He went rogue.
Oh, yeah, completely. Wiped out the entire enemy force, including their families.
Talk about consequences. Breaking a cosmic rule like that, there's got to be some serious blowback.
Oh, there was, big time. Zor and his whole family transformed into demons.
Demons. Wow, talk about a fall from grace.
Right, and this obviously caused a major rift with his brother, Armegon. Split Zeutonia right down the middle.
Makes you wonder about the nature of revenge, doesn't it? Even with good intentions, it can lead to some pretty dark places.
No doubt about it. And this whole revenge cycle, it doesn't end with Zor. It gets passed down to the next generation.
Oh no, like father, like son.
Yep. Armegon has a son, Demarius, this incredible leader, captain of Zeutonia's elite fighting force.
Feels like a pretty impressive guy.
Oh, he was, totally. Almost like a young David going up against Goliath. And guess who his main rival was? Lavar, Zor's son.
Wow, so it's like this cosmic sibling rivalry?
Yeah, but their rivalry wasn't just some petty squabble. It reflected this massive war brewing on Zeutonia.
Makes sense, with their fathers being on opposite sides of this conflict.
And of course, Zor, being the demon he was, constantly fueled the flames. Compare Lavar to Demarius.
So he was manipulating the situation, trying to make things worse.
Pretty much. Pushed Lavar further and further down this dark path.
Classic villain move, turning people against each other.
It all eventually blew up into a full-on war, devastated Zeutonia, left both Zor and Armegon mortally wounded.
Sounds tragic, a whole planet torn apart by this cycle of revenge.
It was. And that's when Alphamegnus stepped in again. He cursed Lavar and his followers, turned them into demons, just like Zor and his family.
So the apple didn't fall far from the tree, huh?
Nope. But then he did something unexpected. Transformed Demarius and his squad into living metal.
Living metal? What, like Iron Man?
Sort of, but more powerful.
Yeah.
Gave them the strength and resilience to fight back. And then he made Demarius the new leader of Zeutonia.
So Demarius inherited a whole lot of responsibility on his shoulders, trying to bring peace back to this shattered world.
Talk about pressure, right? But even then, amidst all this chaos, you can see the core values of the Z Enforcers starting to take shape.
Courage, selflessness, a commitment to justice, all forged in the fires of this conflict.
And that's just the beginning. We've got a lot more to unpack about these Z enforcers, their journey from a war-torn planet to defenders of the human conscience.
I'm hooked. Can't wait to learn more about these metal warriors and what they're up to.
Well, stick with us because things are about to get really interesting. All right, so we've got this, epic cosmic backstory.
Huge stakes.
Right. But how does this all connect to us here on Earth? I mean, how do these metal warriors go from fighting demons on another planet
To defenders of the human conscience.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the source material gets really interesting here. It's saying their battle isn't some, far-off event. It's happening right now, right here.
Here on Earth.
Inside each of us. They're not fighting in the physical world, but in this invisible realm, our thoughts and hearts.
So it's not about lasers and explosions, but
It's about the battle for our minds. It's about those moments when you're facing a tough decision.
do I eat that extra slice of pizza or go for a run?
Well, maybe not that exactly, but you get the idea. Every choice we make, big or small, it's influenced by this battle between good and evil, courage and fear.
So they're like these invisible forces
Yeah.
pulling us in different directions.
That's a great way to put it.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of the Z Enforcers,
A world within our own minds.
right, we want to leave you with this final thought. That battle for the human conscience, it's real. It's happening right now inside each of us.
And the outcome, it depends on the choices we make.
So the next time you're faced with a tough decision, a moment of doubt, remember the Z Enforcers.
Remember, Ian, the enforcer of courage.
Choose to be a force for good in your own life and in the world.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
See you next time.